Welcome to pattern making class. This is Annette Julie, and today in class we are learning how to trace off a basic back bodice block. I have a full-scale back bodice here, and you're going to need your pattern scissors, pencil and pen, curve ruler, perhaps tape, and of course that 2x18" clear plastic ruler, pattern weights, and some pattern paper. So we're going to start by making a grain line on our paper, and this is some alphanumeric paper, which is great to draw little grain lines on, very easy. And we want to make sure that when we draw that grain line, if you were to draw it here, we're coming off the edge of the pattern. So you want to make sure to pull that back. Make sure you've got the whole pattern on there before you draw the grain line and place everything down. That looks good. I'm going to use the middle of these little crosshair marks here. Draw a nice long grain line. Now we're ready to place down our pattern. Whether you're working with a hard paper pattern or soft paper, either one is totally fine. That looks good. Now we're ready to go ahead and trace this off. So you can always take your ruler and help it to keep the pattern down along the edge there, and to keep from drawing on your pattern as well. And go ahead and draw the notches in for the back waist dart. Now we're going to go up our side seam, and whenever you have a straight line, you can go ahead and actually use the ruler too as the line that you're tracing off. You can go ahead and turn this around so I can check it out. Like I said, I can keep that ruler there to help keep things in place. Let's draw in those double notches here in the back. You can use your notching tool later. Double notches mean back. In the front armhole, we have the single notch, meaning single front. Now we're going to trace off our shoulder. We've got the back shoulder dart. Just got those notches. And now we're up to our back neck. And then now we need to go ahead and mark the dart tips. Here we go. And the back off point, which could be the drill hole. We want to make sure that we have everything marked before we lift that pattern up. Down here we're going to go ahead and mark the dart tip from the waist dart, back waist dart, and the drill hole. That looks good. Now we can take our copy up. I don't need the horizontal balance line for the project that we're working on next, but if you do, please transfer and copy that. Now we can connect our dart legs from the shoulder notch down to that dart tip. Then we also have a waist dart. Dart tip down to the waist. You can always put little U's around the notches so you can see that they're there, and that you would notch them with scissors or a notching tool. We still would have to put seam allowance on and everything, but it's really good to see them all the time. Know that they're there for you and that you haven't forgotten them. Make sure they always get transferred correctly and extended out into the seam allowance when you eventually put that on your pattern. We're going to draw arrows, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to label this. Basic, back, bodice. This is a size 8, and you have your name and the date, and this is a good copy now. That looks great. And for my next pattern project, I need to cut this out. Sometimes you can just fold this paper back on the center back and have it underneath, but for this project, I'm going to cut it off. Cutting out the back waist. Now we have the back side seam. Let's go ahead and cut our back armhole. I think I'll trim the shoulder a little bit. Now I can get into the armhole a little bit easier without all that excess paper. And when that corner, the little curve gets a little bit tight, turn the corner and come down and approach that curve from the opposite side. There, I could neaten that up a little bit. Now we're going to finish trimming up our shoulder and back neckline. I'm at center back, cutting the neckline. Now I'm on the shoulder. Shoulder dart. Great, now we have the whole thing cut out, ready to go for our next pattern making project. And this is Annette Julie, and I look forward to you checking out one of my next videos.